watch stream.
Yeah, that one is same for me. I also see that one.
Okay, that's the one.
And sorry, what was it right now? The question was.
If this was the correct view.
Yeah, I think so. This is the correct view.
Yeah.
Because I never created an account or anything.
You could use charm pressure, or you could use charm pressure is better towards the end of the day, like now, or you could use delta pressure. But the best one for me is 0 DTE Gex is pretty good. So Christian, you remember that size, that huge red Gex strike we were seeing before that was out on that graphic that was sticking out? Remember, it's like earlier. Remember, I was saying that there was a huge strike up there, a net short.
Hey everyone, how's it going? It's kind of hard to stream and have loads of voices, to be honest. I don't know how everyone's doing.
First day in ES. Well, I wouldn't say back tech with his mate, but definitely considering everyone hates bonds at the minute in terms of prop firm land, it's not ideal, to be honest. So I'm liking at this. I was about to say the Caudago is gone, but it's back. Sylvie. So did you guys take any trades today in equities? I think we're going to jump into the community in a wee bit. It's just hard to focus when there's 3-4 people talking at the same time. So you're just testing things out and taking a lot of trades. Nice. Nice, yeah, it's a completely different beast. Trading equities to then bonds to, currencies. So what are you going for, ZB? Are you taking sweeps, fades, continuations? What are you doing? Let me just have a look and see what happened in the overnight session here. So we had, wow, extremely one directional. This is a classic when this happens. When it's so directional overnight, then it just clears. Then we go down and literally sweep the low and then back into the mean. Classic. So most volume seems to be from 9:30 to 12. Tried pre-market and after 2 p.m. as well, but not much goes. Do you think trading PM session is best for beginners in the DOM in terms of volatility and how fast the DOM moves in the AM session? Are you talking about ES? If you are, first hour, I would probably say wait until initial balance is set, or at least wait 30 minutes till the market shows its hand a little, because otherwise you're going to be struggling. Because there's tons of orders, you get chopped up, need to wait till the market basically gives you a little bit more bias and flows come in. They're not as whippy. It depends where you are as well. If you're from the US, what's your trade window? Because I would say you need to be pretty selective with your trade windows because it's not possible to watch it from open to close. That's just not, by the time it comes to like 2 or 3 p.m. US time, it can be knackered. So you need to either decide if you're going to trade. If you're going to trade, you're going to, pick a couple of hours and live or die by those couple of hours. It's typically the way to do it, mate. Some small scalps, some large targets, just experimenting, not sure. Well, one thing to note is ES is much more mean reverting than bonds. So when it breaks out of ranges and sweeps highs and lows and stuff, it likes to revert back in or pull back in. Treasuries don't tend to do that. So wondering, do you think orders closer to the top of the book are more reliable? Is they're more likely to be filled versus the deeper order book, which is likely to be more manipulated? So do you mean in terms of MBOQ, or do you mean like as in they're far away from price? in terms of closer, if that makes sense, Alex. That's a good question. Yeah, exactly. X3. I'm just going to call you X. Yeah, so you, in essence, we see it needs to be like a relative inflection point in the chart, where the market is clearly stopped at before and is ideally pulled back off of, and it'll come back and sweep that level, so go through it, and then you'll see like a blip in price that signifies some stops. You'll see some absorption, and then you want to ideally see some delta in favor of the market correcting back in. So yeah, distance from current price, top of book would be closer, deeper, further away. Okay, so you're saying my brain. So you're saying if orders are, or sorry, I think orders that are closer to the top of the book are more reliable, and you're defining closer. Top of book is closer. Okay, so typically, if I'm just going to explain this how it is because my brain is absolutely fried. The longer an order sits on the book, right? Now, if we ignore the cloud algo here, right? If we ignore the cloud algo that just basically follows price, ignore that. If we take this order down here that's 1273, 171, right? If we take that, and then we take this 500 and 500, right? If they've been sitting on the book for a while, they're likely going to be protected, those areas, right? And I would say the ones like this 50 lot has just appeared, this can easily be pulled. This doesn't, the closer they are to the current price, the less weight I give them, because they're the ones that tend to get spoofed. And the reason I say that is they'll lift into the offer, right? Tick up, then they'll start stacking the bid with some large orders to try and get the offer to appear weak so they can get an extra couple of ticks, for example. So I put more weight on the ones that are far away, that have been sitting there for a longer period of time, typically. And if you start flashing the book within a couple of ticks, within the current bid and offer, they can very easily just cancel them off. And then you want to see if they're then going to be filled. So hope I explained that okay. So right now, would you say it's more like to head back down into the largest volume nodes around 5793 instead of a continuation up? I would say right now, there is absolutely nothing that needs to happen right now. So we're at VWAP of the session. We're basically flat on delta. If I was to pick a trade, it would be potentially would be like sweep maybe here, and then work our way down to work our way back down to this area just because it's a higher traded. But to be perfectly honest with you, there's nothing that needs to happen here at all. Delta's flat. It's not like when it comes, it comes to next hour. There's tons one sided that needs to be closed off. As there's not. We're pretty much flat on the day. Because if we look at it, there was tons of selling from here. So in order to just absolutely dump here, the market went from plus 15k all the way down to negative. So it's got us a 16,000 delta to get from here down to here, right? Then we've seen some buying and just basically this delta faff around here. So there's not really anything that needs to happen. So I suppose sorry to be the bearer of bad news. But yeah, I mean, if we somehow get down here, down to like this area, depending on what the flow was like, this would be a nice buy back into here. If we do break, I mean, are we really going to go back up and sort of retest? This area here? Pretty unlikely, right? Because we're now, even though we've seen this really extended day, it's pretty balanced. We're not too far off. When we opened down here, markets went bid, corrected. Now we're just at the average price for the day, and I wouldn't be surprised if the market to pretty much stay around here. But we'll see what happens in the next hour. So see this 96 here that's just shown there that was filled. Then 50 lot filled as well. Gary boy, how's it going? I mean, trading okay, mate. Was trading a bit of the grains, bit of currencies. I don't know. And then first, I was trading on Top Step with bonds, of course. But that's about it, mate. It's a good day actually. It's a good day, but still a little bit cheesed off with just why everyone is killing bonds, of course. No problem, X. Glad you enjoy it, dude. Glad you enjoy. Yeah, so I don't see anything going to happen. So, I mean, if you had to trade right now, I mean, I don't know, you're just coming up with ideas at the minute. I mean, this is just not really a thing to trade, but if you had to trade right now, what would you maybe look to fade this high and fade here, and play around in here? And these levels, 0425. Just trying to see if there's any, talking points, because we're just going to sit in this range. 0425 and 99s. Okay. So here. So these levels, let's make them a bit bigger so you can see them. I really need to make that as a default as 3, so I don't need to change it every time. It appears basically as soon as the open happens, mate. It's still don't really know what it is. It's definitely a market making firm. It has it there, and it's basically tied. It's tied to the VIX. So the lower the VIX, the closer it is to price. It's basically a volatility algo. And the only real thing we can think of is it's there to distort the book. It basically renders heat maps useless unless you're using bookmap that codes it out. Because otherwise you'll just see a cloud of liquidity going around price that's not really real. How often do I recommend refreshing? I don't really have a set time, just when I feel I need to, which probably turns out like every 10 minutes or so, to be honest. I maybe give it a refresh. It's different when I'm on stream, to be honest. Let's see, this hotkey is this set up? Because I want to, yeah, it's great. So I can clear the delta. Nice. Nice. I've been working with quite a different amount of instances the last week, so I always forget which one I'm on. I've got 3 on the go at the minute, which is a pain in the neck. Got one for Top Step, one for Teton, and one for FTT. So I can run them at the same time. I have different, like completely different downloads of Sierra charts to do that. So until we break out of this range here, you know, nothing is really going to happen. But yeah, refresh it, mate, how we see fit, to be honest. It will kind of refresh itself almost. It's just not great when you've got the prints, you know, that take everything up all the time. So yeah, let me know if you guys have got any other questions. Also, we adjusted the description of the video. Now we need to have a chat about prop firms. It's literally trust. You know, it's almost like D-Day. I put a video out about prop firms, and then everything goes to shit. What's that about? You know, I've not did anything about prop firms, not even mentioned them, and I put it out on a Sunday, and then the next week everything goes to shit. What is that all about? So we've got the trading pit that is the one for Eurex products. My funded futures is a no-go because they don't allow scalping. We've got FTT that's just basically pooled bonds, but can add in commissions. We've got Apex that is the cheapest one, but I've got again banned treasuries, so you can really only trade ES with standard comms. They are definitely the cheapest, but you know, I think once you start earning enough money with them, they basically put you into a manual review and struggle to get paid. And then you've got old classic, old faithful Top Step that is pretty consistent. just, just a testament to power of my word, exactly. Yeah, wish it was, mate. Wish it was. So we're trying to see if there is any other firms. I mean, I've not looked into the Blue Ski one or Blue Sky, whatever how you pronounce it, or Leo. I've never even looked into them at all. I mean, Trade Day doesn't support Sierra, so I can't use them. I think that someone was saying that there's CQG. So I don't really think that's it. I think it's, you know, FTT was offering the best. I mean, if you're going to be trading anything else bar treasuries, FTT is still the best option. It's just that everyone is hating against treasuries at the minute, which is not great. And also, which I think we should just discuss. No, so they've pulled it at the moment, which I'm assuming is so that they can speak to Rhythmic to basically put in new conditions. They're probably going to have to configure what rules they want and probably even decide. And I'd imagine if it was them, I mean, I don't understand how adding in commission solves the problem that we're seeing. That doesn't really solve anything, right? All you do when you add in commissions is basically reduce the total profit that a trader is making. If the concern was that people were taking advantage of uh, unrealistic sim fills or whatever in treasuries in illiquid times, then adding commissions does not solve that at all. So the only real solution that they can do is really to ban certain hours of the day, to be honest. That's pretty much it. I still don't really understand the. I don't know. I think the scenario that people are playing out that are saying on like the 30-year it's that illiquid in the overnight session that they can physically go in on a live market and actually lift the market so that they get filled in sim is, I don't know. I just don't. If someone is doing that, bravo to them, right? If someone has got an account where they can comfortably trade 50 to 60 contracts, right, to move it one tick, while once they're out that trade, they're out in sim and then need to manage the 50, 60 contracts they've already taken. That is presuming that no one else trades in that time. Do you know what I mean? And if you've got the capital to comfortably trade 50, 60 contracts, including margin, especially on a 30-year, which you're going to need a fortune in your account to do so, you're not going to be trading prop anyway. You know what I mean? So, and adding commissions doesn't solve that, to be honest with you. Um, so I'm not really entirely sure what the deal is. I mean, I don't want to go into rants about it, but it's just seems quite strange. Because in theory, then you could do that exact same thing in any product. Do you know what I mean? I mean, have a look at micro Bitcoin. I mean, there's nothing there. Or look at NQ in the overnight session again. There's nothing there. I don't see how that's isolated to treasuries, to be honest with you. So it just seems a bit weird, to be honest. Well, the reason why we had the pullback is because of the news today. We had a beat in GDP and we had less jobless claims than expected, which is pretty bullish for the economy. Shows strength. Bonds hate strength of the economy, so they dump, yields increase. So that could change tomorrow. Once that news comes out on a Thursday, pretty much after 1:30, depending if the news is pretty significant, it will dump the market one way. And then bonds typically goes that way for that session, especially on a Thursday. If the news is like kind of an outlier where you've got a beat in GDP, 3% versus 2.9, and then it was quite a beat on the job numbers as well, which come out every Thursday. Yeah, it's just such an outlandish theory. I mean, the one thing that comes to my mind if someone is to do that is, yes, you could do that. You could do that in any market, but then you need to queue up a sim trade, and then you need to queue up a live trade at the same time, execute it perfectly, so that there's no other there's no it's not like there's there's other algorithms, of course, that are trading in the market, and there's other things going on. So if you go in and you lift 50 contracts and actually there's a little mini iceberg there and you're left holding the bag, you'll maybe get filled in sim, but then you're off 3 ticks on. Do you know what I mean? There's an inherent amount of risk in that. I just don't see how that's plausible, to be honest. Or the other thing is you've got tons of people that are executing one contract, which again, how do you get everyone to buy? I don't know. I mean, that's weird, if I'm honest. The most likely thing that they're saying is that treasuries as well is giving you unrealistic fills, which I can tell you, trading the 10 and 30 year for a long, long time, both on Teton, live environments, and on Sim, right? Or Rhythmic Sim, anyway. You actually get better fills in live than you do on Sim. You get loads of toxic fills. There has never been a time where if you enter in a trade in the sort of plus or minus, what 1 tick above or below the current bid and ask, that you get a favourable fill. If anything, you queue up, say there's 600 on the bid, you queue up, in theory, you're 601. What happens a lot of the time is they'll trade 300 into that, the 300 cancel, and then you're left holding the bag while they reload the offer. That happens more often than not, to be honest, and then you're trying to scratch. So they're coming up with an excuse to not pay trade. Yeah, exactly. I mean, Apex specifically, right, where they're saying they're banning. You cannot. You can enter into a winning trade, but you can't enter into losing trades. Banning treasuries, banning Well, you can't trade the opening range. Wait, you're kidding me? You can't trade the opening range with Apex? Is that a joke, or is that just? If that is the case, mate, I mean, this is just. Apex you can understand because there's new kids in the block, right? Apex you can understand. Their sales have been hit massively, right? A lot of the newer prop firms and stuff, like FTT, has basically hit their numbers. No one can deny that. All those people that would be trading multiple accounts would be trading with Apex, and that's more money flowing into a different company. It's not Apex, right? So it makes you wonder, if you're not increasing sales, then what do you do as a business? Will you cut costs? And what's the biggest cost that Apex has? More than their own staff, more than the servers, it's the money that they're paying out to traders. So it seems like to me it's just a very simple business decision. Let's tighten the rules to reduce costs. Sadly. No different than getting a than phoning up your gas and electric supplier to get a cheaper rate, you know? They're just cutting costs. But then, of course, that they can't publicly come out and say that, can they? Do you know what I mean? They've got to come up with some sort of reason. So they're basically saying, we no longer want bond traders anymore. We simply want to cater to a specific niche in the market that is pretty much ES and NQ. And then you've got other firms that are basically, looking at their book saying, we've maybe got 2 to 3% of the traders that actually trade treasuries, yet they ultimately cost us more money on average per profitable trader, as an example. Then business decision, uh, you know, we're not doing it anymore. Same reason where it's not, you're not doing anything illegal or anything, but it's the same reason where when I go into the casino I can't count cards, and they say to me, you can play anything else but blackjack, for example. Do you know what I mean? It's the same sort of theory. They're happy for you to go and trade ES and NQ, but not to trade slower moving products apparently, which I think is pretty crazy. But it'd be interesting to hear everyone's thoughts on that. Have I increased it? No, not specifically. I mean, when I trade on treasuries, I have it at 6, and then if I'm trading on other ones, I'll maybe have it at like 10, 20 at most. But I find that 20 is too big. I like to have it more in my peripheral, to be honest. This is exciting, isn't it? Since we've drew these lines, the market's went. It's not, it's not doing anything. But yeah, it would overall be good to hear everyone's thoughts as what's happening, to generally what they think, and if anyone thinks I'm speaking out of turn. Um, if anyone's got any other prop firms that you think we should look into, that is that you can actively maybe trade treasuries on, or has got any other sort of unique proposal out with slightly different payout options or something. That sounds like your refresh rate, mate, and how you've got this configured. So, do you have the refresh rate set to 50 milliseconds, the update interval? So, updates. Then you need to have your reset bid and ask on change set to yes, and then have it set to 2500 milliseconds. If you don't have all of that set, there's a best DOM settings video on the channel. Everything's on there, mate. I would then chuck on OpenGL to put some pressure on the GPU instead of CPU. That sounds a bit like a performance issue, if you ask me. So not the best order flow here, guys, since not really much you can discuss when it's it's been an hour in the same range. To be honest, not ideal. Yeah, let me know if you get any other questions, if you watch the video, mate. Yeah, it covers a number of points in there, and how to get the white boxes so you can actually see where the best bid and the best ask is, as well as what's aggregating. There's a couple of settings you need to change for it as well. And you are trading on Sierra, right? Good, 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 good. Surely we're going to get some volume to come in here. We've got 25 minutes to get some action. We may even bring up NQ to see some movement. Fact. Let's do that. Chart settings, symbol, and then let's change this to NQ. Right, that doesn't matter. We'll see what's happening in crazy NQ. Because ES is bored out my marbles. That's when you know it's bad. It's done the exact same thing. Interesting that it's just at the value area high here, and it's probing people to go long. Let's see if we basically correct back in, and these people will have to stop out, or are we going to go bid? I think if we do break either way here, the fact that we've spent so long in this range, when we bust out it, we should probably bust out it a little bit more. Wow, look at that 789 lot. Wow. Don't see that very often. Someone clearly doing their business right now. That with them, home for the day, finito. There we go, classic NQ as well, looking like it's given the sign and then dumps, and now you're gonna have people stopping out. So drive us down. Let's see if ES can break through here, or we're just gonna range more. Hopefully it does something. Interesting, we've seen the down the Russell Pro belows here at the minute, which are going. Let's see if ES is going to follow suit and NQ. Well, the Dow is at POC, so ideally we want to see NQ drop a little bit. If it doesn't, yeah, it's going the wrong way, so ES will do the same. I love how, in fact, here we go. Let's see if they can break it. I love how in treasuries that people have been trading treasuries with props for years, and then all of a sudden, someone makes a video about it that basically gives half-arsed facts and starts emailing prop firms. Um, and everyone's using Rhythmic as well. I would like them to actually, if see if they're going to ban bonds, right, in general, and every firm goes that way. I would like them to actually do a presentation with some hard facts, rather than just saying, oh, it's prohibited whatever the copy and paste response is. Then you've got some muppets that go in and say, oh, you're just scammers, scamming, schemers. Yeah, they don't even know what a bid and offer is. Chances have you got? Oh, the bonds are so liquid. That's why they hardly move. They're just so liquid. This is absolutely shocking action. As you can tell, I'm in a bit of a ranting mood. So they ban bonds, and then welcome to ES, an hour in like an 8 tick range. But then no problem, I'll just load up a live account and smash 50 contracts of ES so I can get a fake sim tick. Unbelievable. Kiyun, yes, this is Sierra Charts. And that's why certain people are allowed popularity, because it makes everyone else have an unpopular opinion. Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't have enough of a social media following either to, start causing up a fuss, I suppose. Because if I did, I would. To be honest, I would be the exact same with this channel if I had 50,000 subscribers versus, we're nearly at 2K as well. So you guys need to tell your, tell your mum, tell your friends, tell your gran, tell your dog to subscribe. The more people we have in the channel, the more clout we can help for my beloved bonds. Good, I'm glad you think so, Kayun. Hopefully I'm not butchering your name. Glad you think so. If you're new to OrderFlow, I've got a nice playlist in the channel. If you go to playlists, there's hours of content in there for you to absorb, all about OrderFlow things. Miranda, one thing is certain, prop firms are a joke. They are not professional prop desks. Just look at how they... yeah, exactly. Exactly, Miranda. We don't need to name any names of that, do we? NQ's this time is down, so let's see if ES can pop a roo. About negative delta coming in. We should see a bit of a sweep through here. If we can. This is the 5th hit of the level. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. The best way to do it, to be honest, is just get yourself a seat and trade your own money. It's not that I don't like them. It's just, the whole model with them, sadly, is, they can show it with one hand and take it with the other. You know, uh, I would say you need to go in to these prop firms, right, and be realistic. You need to go in with your eyes completely wide open. Never keep money with these firms. because you don't know if they're going to be there. They could have regulation issues. You don't know what's happening behind closed doors. So you need to always go in with your eyes open and take money out when you can. And I just don't like how, without any real reason here, they can just ban products because, one firm does it. Firms are pulling treasuries without even a full investigation yet. But this is the thing, Fago, that it's been made out here that trading treasuries, right? And I've traded treasuries for years, right? And I've traded both on live with Teton and on Rhythmic, right? And Rhythmic has, out of all the sim environments, has the most realistic fills. Now, there's not an example in treasuries where you get super advantageous fills that just prints money or whatever the case is. That's not a thing. So that's certainly not how it is. And I've traded thousands and thousands of contracts on those markets and on the whole curve on the twos, maybe not as much as the twos, but the fives to the 30 year. I've done a lot of trading in them, and there's never a case where say on the 10 year, which is 4,500 contracts in the bid and offer, right? There's never a case where you lay out an offer at 4,500 and 50 contracts trade into it and you get filled. That's never a thing. That just doesn't happen. If anything, you're getting worse fills because bids and offers get pulled. So I just don't know how people are actively scamming that. To be honest with you, that's not I just don't see how it's that much of a thing. And if they're saying that people are moving markets in live to make a tick in sim, they would need to have at least 100 grand in their account. I'm not even kidding you. By the time you include margins and the margins to trade treasuries is a lot as well. But I would love to see a full investigation as to what they've actually found. Because in theory, if the reason for banning is because some bad actors were synthetically moving a live market to get an advantageous fill on sim, that's nothing to do with treasuries. They could do that in Globex in any market. Do you know what I mean? But that's so much that sounds easy, right? Market's really liquid. Just go and buy the market up because there's not that much money to spend. That is so much harder to actually implement than everyone is thinking. Do you know what I mean? You need to get filled in your contracts on the bid, for example. Then you need to not have enough money there, and you need to then go and buy the market up in live. And in that time frame, by the time you do that, there needs to have been no other trades to happen, and the market stays in the same place. And you need to have enough money to clear out the next price and hope that someone else doesn't tick back in. And you need to be doing that with like 50, 60 contracts or something. Do you know what I mean? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong here, but it just seems a little bit far-fetched, to be honest. No, count 100% stick with Denali. Rhythmic is, if you've got Denali data feed, you're just gonna use that as your data and then use Teton or Rhythmic as your order routing, whatever way you want to do it. How many points did I try to catch a day? I would be happy on ES with like somewhere between 8 to 24 ticks. Any more than that, happy days. Yeah, exactly. The model is a bit weird, mate. You're completely right there. Yeah. But yeah, it would be interesting to have a chat with, we should maybe do a mini podcast about it. It'd be interesting. On NQ. Oh, I don't trade NQ at all. But I'd imagine something like 10 points, 20 points or something. Something like that, mate. So we've been in this range now for about an hour and a half now. Great. Point, yeah, points 4 ticks. So I was talking about ES. So if it was NQ, it would be maybe something like 10, 20 points a day. But I would be pretty happy with 10, to be honest. Depends on your contract size, of course. But you need to make your targets pretty realistic. Do you know what I mean? I prefer ES because it's just a thicker book. NQ, you sneeze and it moves 20 ticks. So it's just so whippy. I mean, look how thin the book is. If anyone comes in and actually hits some size, then you're screwed. Completely different market. You need this different strategy to trade NQ than you would ES, to be honest. Obviously, wider targets and stops as well. Okay, we have 10 seconds until some volume actually starts coming in, so let's clear the delta. Let's see if we can bust out here, or are we literally going to spend the whole time in here? Yeah, but you need to trade whatever. Just because I prefer trading the ES. You need to always, trade a market that suits your style, dude. It's the way to go. The way to go. There was literally no injection that came in there. Normally at 10 to 4, there's a bit of an oomph. I mean, I suppose there was some volume here, but the market's literally not moved. I wouldn't be surprised if we're at some sort of options level, as one of the boys would say. It surprised me. This market's not doing anything. So let me know if you guys are getting any other questions, and also if anyone's getting any prop firms that are trading, it's not out the standard ones, please let me know. Here's a little bit of negative delta coming in here. See if we can break out this range or not. NQ's going. See if it can do something. Okay, let's see if we can work our way down to 92s. Or are we just going to turn evens here as the new POC? Yeah, we are. We are's. This is possibly when one of the worst market on close I've seen in a while. We've got approximately 8 minutes left of the volume to actually do something, but it doesn't seem likely. Need to go back down and pretty much make evens the POC. They just hit that, didn't they? Yeah, sorry, I don't know if I answered that yet. So 10 points is 40 ticks, Alatin, yep. Mm-mm. Okay, so looks like fours be the high and then work our way back down into evens again. 4 minutes to decide. The Dow is ripping. So they ram it up here. Let's see if they can pull this back in. So we'll see what happens in 2 minutes if the bid just disappears and then we pull back in. Lots of positive delta coming in. So let's see if they clear it. We're just going up to the sweep level at the minute. Then let's see if they pull it in the next couple of minutes. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Bid is certainly holding it off though. Then we work our way back down to evens potentially. Make that the new POC for close of session. All the volley's happening now. There we go. I suppose that was the play. Gave the sweep, did all that, and then pulls it back down into evens. See if we can turn something in here into POC, which should be happening pretty soon. It's crazy that you sit for an hour and a half and then the volume comes in and it gives you the opportunity. It's always the same, isn't it? So let me know if you guys are getting our questions before we look to call it. That's all she wrote for the session. Ideally want to see if one of these will turn to the new POC. Looks like it's going to be 2.5. Not long, about 500 contracts roughly left. Had the sweep, then they turn back to the nearest high volume node. Very standard stuff. I think we're a couple hundred contracts away now, maybe 150. Yay, there we go. Would you look at that? It's because the market on close data, mate. So basically everyone rushes to close out their data and positions. So all the business is conducted from 10 to 4 to like 2-3 minutes past 4. You see a flurry of volume come in. And when the market's in like a range like that, really, really tight, when it gets really far out the range, and then typically just reverts back in. But some days that range can be massive, some days it can be as boring as this. And what I find not as exciting about this is, at least in bonds, when it's in a tight range, you can actually see some interesting stuff on the bid and offer. This is just orders been pulled a lot of the time, and like this a little bit of a spoof. So let's see if they actually clear that, or if that's just going to cancel. It's 84. The market just bounces off it. Then the stacking here. One of these will probably pull, I'd imagine. And ES is such a mean reverting market, far more mean reverting than treasuries. Treasuries, of course, mean reverts in a balanced day, but if treasuries takes out a level, you know yourself, it continually tends to go at a lot higher frequency than ES. ES, a lot of the time, without any news, will just go up and down, and then finish, within a plus or minus, uh, 30 ticks or something where it opened. But then they still call that positive day. But yeah, let me know if you guys get any questions. Otherwise, we'll look to call it. If anyone is getting any suggestions or platforms or any other ideas, please feel free to message me and let me know. I'm all ears at the minute. And if you've not, have a look at the links in the description for any of them if you're looking to buy any accounts, where we're putting 50% back into the community to try and give everyone some extra discounts. Sorry, what you mean, buddy? In terms of collective? No, so are you talking about what we're meaning by that? So basically, if anyone uses any of the affiliate links that we have, I never wanted this channel to turn into an absolute shill for prop firms. So what I propose that we've done here is, if you use one of the affiliate links, basically it generates commission for the channel, right? And instead of that just going directly into growing the channel, I propose that we give 50% of the generated commissions back into the community so that people get some free accounts and discounts and extra stuff, rather than just 100% of it going. Yeah, exactly. So the profits are either going to be distributed um, via new accounts or dispersion or whatever the case may be, to be honest. To be perfectly honest with you, mate, there needs to be enough money generating through it before it's even worthwhile. Do you know what I mean? But the plan of attack is that, say for example, there's 10 to 15% commissions generated. Well, 50% of that is going to the channel, and 50% is basically given in a rebate back to the community. Because that's how this works. So if you go and if you spend $500 on prop firms, the channel generates $50, of which of that $25, 50% gets pumped back into the community. Whether that be for the people that have used the link, they get money dispersed, or they get some free accounts, or whatever the case is. Still need to decide that. But I wanted to do it as a community incentive, rather than just use the link. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense? Because people are buying them anyway, right? So hopefully I've cleared that up, dude. Exactly, and that's the thing. To be honest with you, that's the thing. I'm basically from my side trying to give back to the community as well as generate and grow the channel. To be honest, because if I'm being completely transparent with you, you know the amount of time we do videos, stream, and do that last month, YouTube revenue's like 30 quid. Do you know what I mean? So you're never. So realistically, I would like to be able to get an editor, put more quality videos, structure things a little bit better, you know, and dedicate more time to the actual production element of YouTube, which as you can see, I don't do because I trade. Do you know what I mean? I trade like everyone else all the time. So I'd like to be able to delegate a little bit of the production value of videos off, um, you know, that type of thing. But then, of course, give value back to the community. And people can do that by using the links, but then also they get a kickback for doing that themselves. So prop firms already offer discounts, so if we can, you know, they then get an extra little discount or free accounts at the end of the month or whatever, which way to do it. It's just something different, I suppose, mate, is the way I see it. But it's good to get everyone's feedback. Anyway, guys, you all have a great rest of your evening or rest of your afternoon, and we will catch up tomorrow. You know, happy Friday. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that, mate. There's a couple of them in the description if there's any of them that you would like to use. But you guys all take care, and we'll catch you tomorrow. Thanks, everyone.